It's Weezy FS1. Skip the BS and put everybody after BS. PS, all I spit is FACTS. Be best, skip be less, yes, say less. Top for the top, apex, everyday flex. If you ain't got no haters, you ain't poppin', I ain't trying to hate. Let's have a Jordan and LeBron debate. I got time today, dripping on the chain. My diamonds say what they gotta say. If you think it's a game, I commentate, I ain't gotta play. On in the morning, I own my opponent. My competition is not an issue, it's cotton tissue. Unconventional, controversial, convoluted, unconditional, undeterred and undisputed. Good morning.
Yeah, he should have been.
Good morning. No. It's a great morning. Not just because I got the playmaker back here to my right.
My boys.
Welcome back.
Good to be here.
Tonight, we have LeBron and we have the NFL draft with Jerry Jones on the clock and on the hot seat. We will get to Jerry in just a few minutes here on this show, but right now it is time to skip the BS. It's time for Undisputed, and it's time to talk draft with two former great receivers who catch a lot of flack for what they say on this show. Maybe even today they will, but Michael Irvin and Keyshawn Johnson, good morning, and I do welcome you back. Man,
it's good.
Playmaker. And this man, you don't know how much he missed your wisdom and your insight. He was lost without you on the show.
About the Cowboys, what they might do at the 24th pick.
Yeah, it's a good pick. That's a good pick. Now remember, we got a Tyler Smith down in that area before now. That was a.
You know how many Tyler Smiths you need right now?
Yeah.
You can't get with the 24th pick. You can't get a lot of Tyler Smith.
We got him around that two area. At 24.
Right. We got Tyler around that area. Right.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
As we well know, receivers are nothing without quarterbacks. So let's talk Caleb Williams versus Jaden Daniels. This week it felt like Jaden Daniels' stock was skyrocketing while Caleb was getting picked to pieces by anonymous scout quotes. It happens every year. Now it's Caleb's turn. Here are a few of those. First scout quote: I think Caleb has a chance to be very good, but I'm not sure about the winning. For me, it's how motivated he is to just win. Ooh. Okay, next quote. He gives off a Russell Wilson vibe with his lack of self-awareness. It's like, I'm kind of above everybody. And next, I like Caleb as a player, but the locker room part of it concerns me. He's going to have to understand the difference in where he's at, meaning out in Hollywood, and how he's being treated to being the quarterback in an NFL locker room. And finally, an anonymous scout quote about his crying on the bench after losing. Raw emotion is great, but Caleb's thing, that was ridiculous to me. That threw up major red flags. I will tell you, he scares the SH out of a lot of NFL teams, too. And, of course, there was the father is way too involved narrative at the Combine and the criticism of his fingernail polish. So, Keyshawn, you know Caleb on and off the field. You've known Jaden and his family, of course, since he was a kid growing up out here in Southern California. You've been consistent saying you'd take Jaden over Caleb, right?
Yeah.
Now, with draft night upon us, are you sticking with Jaden?
Yes, but let me address some of the anonymous.
Come on, man. I'm holding off all I could over here because okay, go ahead.
I just want to address some of the anonymous.
I thought this might bring you somewhat back into Caleb's corner, right?
This is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
It makes but look, it's anonymous. Whatever. It's fine. They're scared. They're scared to put their names with it. I get it. Right. They don't like to do that, Skip. But here's wait. But saying there are many teams that has this thought, have that thought, and you're just one dude. That's not good because that's not right. Is what I'm saying. If you're with one team, you're with one team. Don't be saying many teams to make it. Just because that's a lie.
It's a lie.
First of all, it's a damn lie, Skip. Okay. As somebody, I don't want to go too far off, but as somebody that was the #1 overall pick out of Southern California, South Central Los Angeles, gang violence, somebody who's been shot twice, nothing but gang members around me, drug dealers around me, all of that.
You had to go to junior college?
Junior college. More red flags around me than what you think. From We don't know what type of person he is. Is he going to revert back to this? Does he like to work? Does he this? Stop with all of that. Now they're talking about the man's fingernail polish on his hands.
Right.
Do they even understand the world that we're living in right now? That men across all sports and music and entertainment and political and all, that's what they do. They put fingernail polish. There's individuals that have brand deals with fingernail polish. So the scouts is crazy. Anybody? Okay, so now let's dive into.
Right. It's just it's a lot that has nothing to do with football, and that's what this evaluation is about, and that's what we're talking about right now.
One last thing, crying. You know, I cried like a baby when we lost to Notre Dame at Notre Dame. Okay, when we was the top thing going and we rolled into Notre Dame and we lost, we got shellacked, although I played well. I still cried, okay, like a baby. And I was the #1 overall pick, so that's all foolishness.
I've seen a bunch of cry like babies after games.
Yeah, it happens that way.
A bunch of them.
As far as on the...
And we're going to see some tonight because this draft is such an incredible moment.
Yeah.
And we're going to see some kids cry like a baby.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So as far as on the field stuff, I like Jaden Daniels more because I think he's more pro-ready. Okay, and what's pro-ready to me? Right. A guy, when I look at the league, typically on certain down and distances, you're in shotgun because they want to get you back so you can see the defense, the rush is coming, you got room to move around. Jaden Daniels could do both. He could go underneath the center, he can drop back.
Although, can I make a quick point? This man caught footballs from a quarterback who refused to play in the shotgun ever, right? I don't think he just despised it. So you somehow won 3 Super Bowls with Troy Aikman, and I don't think he ever stood in the shotgun.
And that may be
very rare.
Very rare because of what they did from a style standpoint.
He just didn't have to watch the football in the air coming back to him.
In the timing of it. The timing of it. You see, when you take the ball from snap, the timing goes with your feet. It's the feet, the time. Now, if you're taking that ball in shotgun, the timing is in your head. Yeah. You see what I mean? So I've got back 3 steps, I can throw that slant.
You have to watch it into your hands without watching the routes.
Yeah, it's a lot that go on with that. So the reason I say this about Jaden, you go all the way back to when he first came out of high school and went to Arizona State. He had one coordinator in Rob Lincolns. Then the next
By the way, AP recruited him.
Yeah, Antonio Pierce recruited him in 2019.
Yep.
When he was a recruiting coordinator, linebacker coach at ASU. Then he had Zach Hill. Then he had Zach Hill again. Then he went to Denbrock at LSU.
LSU.
So he's been in 3 different systems. So he had to adjust, do all of those sort of things.
He did.
Different than a little bit of Caleb. Caleb's only been in the air raid at Oklahoma. So there's an adjustment period, a strong adjustment period that now has to come when he goes to Chicago. They're not going to sit back and 90% of the time be in a gun situation like USC and Oklahoma was. So he's got to learn how to get underneath the center, play action pass, drop back, hit his back foot. So it's a little bit of a bigger learning curve. I like Jaden Daniels' skill set at running the football, not sneak attack running. See, Caleb is more of a sneak attack. He's looking to throw, then he goes. Jaden makes a decision, Lamar Jackson-like, and he's gone. I'm not saying he is Lamar Jackson. I'm saying okay? So when you look at his ability to take the football, put his foot in the ground, retrace, do all sorts of little things, he throws a pretty deep ball. His ball turns around with whistle. I like all the anticipation with him, all of those sort of things. And again, it does not mean that I don't like Caleb. Right. I just prefer Jaden Daniels. And another thing I want to say before I pass this thing on, you've been around this thing 40-something years, Skip, or whatever that number is, covering sports. It's amazing that when you look back in the history of the National Football League, there was once upon a time that black quarterbacks wouldn't even be sniffed and looked at. Your Dallas Cowboys took Danny White instead of Warren Moon. Think about that. Now when you look at in the 2000s, since the 2000s, you had Michael Vick as the #1 overall pick, Jamarcus Russell, whatever, he still was the #1 overall pick, Cam Newton, Jameis Winston, Kyler Murray, Bryce Young.
Now it's flipped completely around.
Crazy to see that how far it's come to the point where they say, I love that skill set, opposed